Hello, my name is Lauren Nackel, and I'm the Community Engagement Specialist at Reach Beyond Domestic Violence.
Hi, I'm Jessica Teperow, and I'm the Director of Prevention Programs at Reach Beyond Domestic Violence. Lauren and I are really excited to come to Needham and lead a workshop, one of our most popular workshops, called What to Do, Say. And we wanted to talk a little bit about why we think this workshop can be so useful to so many community members, friends, family, and neighbors. And we hope many of you will be able to join us. So REACH is a domestic violence organization based in Waltham that serves 27 cities and towns, including Needham. I am a Needham resident, and Lauren does a lot of work here in Needham with the Domestic Violence Action Committee. And so we're particularly excited to bring this conversation to this community. In particular, I think this conversation is really important now, as it always is, in our roles engaging in different community spaces and places, talking with professionals, faith leaders, educators, friends, family members. We often hear from folks who are really concerned about a friend or a family member who they are thinking may be experiencing domestic violence or may be in an abusive relationship. I think what's particularly hard about this is that when we hear about these things in the news or we see these things depicted on television, it's usually pretty obvious. We have these very dramatic depictions and sensationalized stories that make it seem like if something like that were going on with someone that we care about, we would know right away. But in reality, domestic violence can be a lot harder for us to recognize. And when we are beginning to become concerned that that might be something someone we care about is experiencing, it can be really hard to know what to do and what to say. So I'll let Lauren talk in just a moment about what this workshop is all about and how we try to answer those questions, but just to give you all a little bit more insight about what it is that we will be addressing. When we're talking about domestic violence, we're talking about things that include but are not limited to physical abuse. At REACH, we use a definition that abuse is a pattern of behaviors that one person uses to gain and maintain power and control over their partner, over other people in that relationship. And so when we think about that definition, I often say to friends and family that just as an abuser is taking away power and control from their partner, they also can be taking power and control away from everyone who cares about that person. So often we may notice changes in our loved one's behavior or appearance or activity, and we may really want to be able to fix things for them or to pull them out of harm's way, but we also can feel really powerless to know how to help them, to know how to support them in a way that allows them to still come to us and talk to us openly, whether they stay in that relationship or if they decide to leave, really wanting to make sure that we keep those lines of communication open. So again, in television, we may see really obvious signs of physical abuse, like, bruising or other signs that someone's been physically harmed. In our everyday lives, what we typically see is someone becoming more and more isolated from their friends and family as an abuser starts to exert more control over who they can see and what they can do. And that's been particularly hard during the pandemic, which is why we feel like this conversation is a really timely one to have and continue having. We also may notice that someone may be more anxious about being in touch with their partner. If you are able to see them in person, you may notice checking their phone often or being concerned about being in a particular place at a particular time that their partner expects them to be. You may notice them, sort of withdrawing from normal activities or just noticing some kind of change in their behavior. And I think in particular, we really want to recognize the expertise that all of you have into who your loved ones are and what makes you think that something might be going on for them. So as folks that work in this field and can provide some expertise around the subject matter of domestic violence, it's really about pairing that with the expertise of your relationship with this person and thinking about what changes do you feel like are indicative of something being off, what makes you concerned, and for us to be able to shed some light that sometimes the things that at first seem like loving behaviors in a relationship can be actually concerning behaviors. we understand that abuse is not about physical dominance, but rather about power and control, then we may start to sort of reframe some of the things that we've noticed that could be potential warning signs, such as possessiveness and jealousy, that often get shrouded in, I care about this person so much, or they care about me so much, that it can be hard for us to decipher sometimes what a healthy relationship is and when it becomes unhealthy or abusive. So this workshop is aimed at first providing you all with some information to help you better recognize and understand the dynamics of abuse. And I'm going to turn it over to Lauren to talk a little bit more about what this workshop really focuses on and what you can hope to gain from attending.
So if you were to join us at our What to Do, What to Say workshop, you can expect to walk away from that conversation grounded in a deeper understanding of what abuse is, a better ability to recognize whether someone in your life might be experiencing something of concern. But most importantly, our goal of attending this workshop is for you to walk away having some tangible skills, knowing what you could say in that moment to support someone in your life that you're concerned about, whether they be a friend, a family member, a neighbor, a social connection that you have in some way. We want you to better understand those opportunities, know what might not be so helpful, where we might be tempted to be saying certain things, but really grounded in that I can do this. I know who to ask my questions to. I know the organizations that I can lean on for support, and I know where I can connect this person so that they can provide support as well. We hope you'll join us. Our workshop will be on Wednesday, May 19th from 10 to 11:30. It is a skill building workshop. We'll be answering lots of questions, helping you to walk away with that confidence. Jess, in the meantime, can you talk a little bit more about if people are concerned about someone right now in their life, what can they do to provide that support?
Absolutely. So we're excited to be able to offer this on May 19th, but if you are hearing this and thinking this sounds really familiar or hitting close to home, I think I'm worried about someone right now, we want you to know first and foremost, reach us here. We are your local domestic violence organization. We are so fortunate to partner in so many different ways with members of the Needham community. And we always want to make sure people know that help and support is available, not just for your loved one, but also for you. Again, we know that people who care about someone who's in an abusive relationship also need support, because we also may be feeling some of those same experiences of powerlessness, helplessness, and wanting to be able to do something. So we definitely want you all to know that reach is here, and you're welcome to utilize our programs and services. And one that I think is really helpful to know about is our hotline. So that's 800-899-4000. And so if folks need to reach out and talk to someone to get some support and some guidance on how to support a loved one, that's available to you 24/7. So that's something you can always utilize for yourself, or on behalf of someone else if you want to talk through a situation. And I think for us, again, as I mentioned before, isolation is a really powerful tool that a lot of abusers use. And unfortunately, during the pandemic, became even more available to people who were looking to control their partners. And so right now, I think in thinking about ways that we can combat abusive behaviors and how we can end domestic violence, part of what we can do is help to interrupt some of that isolation. And we may not be able to do that in all the ways that we once were, but just thinking about how you can connect and reach out to the people in your lives in ways that feel safe, both in thinking about safety around COVID-19, but also around safety around abusive relationships. But just a simple small action like asking someone to go for a walk and catch up, seeing if you can check in with them on the phone or over text message, and really being respectful of what their boundaries are and how they feel most supportive in checking in. And we really want to encourage folks to think about opening up those dialogues in really open ways, rather than kind of diving right into what your concerns or fears might be, really allowing that person to share with you how they're doing and sort of following their lead in terms of what they feel most comfortable talking about. And if they do express concerns about their safety or about their relationship, again, we want you to know that resources are available for them and for you. And I think one of the things you'll hear Lauren and I say in the workshop is we always encourage people, when you want to help, when you want to offer that support, to think about offering options rather than advice. So if we understand an abusive relationship is about taking control away and having control over someone, then we want to make sure that as we're trying to support them, we're not mimicking that behavior by trying to force them into doing something if they're not ready. So really a simple way of thinking about this is just shifting from shoulds to coulds. So for instance, if you want to offer them our services, letting them know, I heard this conversation on the Needham channel about relationships, and I know there's organizations out there like Reach Beyond Domestic Violence that can help people think through different situations. If you're interested in connecting with someone there, I'm happy to find out some information for you about the best ways to connect if that's something you're interested in. And really allowing the person, the survivor, to be able to take control and be able to do that. So again, we're really excited to be able to lead this conversation. I'm going to turn it over to Lauren just to remind everybody about the information about the workshop, and we really hope to see you there.
We so hope you can join us. Again, the date of our workshop is May 19th. It's on a Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. If you'd like to register, registration is required. Please visit the Needham Town's website. The Department of Public Health has the registration link. You can also email Hannah Burnett, the Needham Town public health nurse, and she can help you get registered as well. We hope to see you then. And if you have questions in the meantime, please give us a call. Thank you.